of their work, the work they are being paid salaries for. They would no longer render these services without being bribed. And this leads to shortcomings in the public service. So if you don't bribe a certain civil servant, then such civil servants might not render needed services to you. Unstable governments. This also refers to political instability. Instability in the government due to military intervention threatens the efficiency of the public service. This implies that due to the change in governments and due to the military intervention, the efficiency of the public service is short-lived. Inconsistency of government policies. The frequent change of policies by different governments usually affects the effectiveness and productivity of the public service. That is, due to frequent change in governments, and in as much as these governments come into power, they make their own policies, and some even change the policies of the previous governments. This affects the effectiveness and productivity of the public service. Other reasons include lack of motivation and encouragement. Some civil servants are not motivated and encouraged to carry out their duties, probably in terms of delaying their salary or no bonus, wages and all that. And this reduces their effectiveness. Too much protocol and bureaucracy. In the public service, there are certain protocols to follow in regards of certain issues, and there are certain ways of handling certain matters. But too much of this protocol and bureaucracy might lead to shortcomings in the public service. That is, when civil servants bank too much on this protocol and cannot even deviate for certain emergency issues, then it leads to shortcomings in their services. Delaying salary payments. When the salaries of civil servants are delayed, they tend not to perform effectively. They tend not to function effectively, and thereby this causes shortcomings for the service. Political intimidation. Some civil servants are intimidated or harassed politically from performing their duties. That is, some civil servants are threatened not to carry out their duties as expected by political leaders or political authorities or political godfathers, thereby affecting their productivity. Ways of improving the public service. There are several ways of improving the effectiveness of the public service, and some of them are: 1. Organizing training programs and refresher courses for the public servants. These training programs helps to update them on new ways and gives them new ideas on how to carry out their duties and responsibilities effectively. Timely promotion of public servants. That is, when public servants are promoted when the time is due, it helps them, it encourages them to deliver and render good services to the public, because they feel motivated and encouraged to do their duties. Timely payment of salaries, allowance, and other bonuses. When civil servants receive their salaries, allowances, and bonuses on time, this encourages them and it propels them to perform and carry out their functions and duties effectively. Effective supervision and regulatory control to check laziness and absenteeism. There should be regular, time-to-time supervision of the activities of the public service, so as to put under control the rate of absenteeism, because some public servants do not go to their place of assignment but end up getting their salaries at the end of the month, and this is detrimental to the public service. Laziness. In terms of laziness, some public servants, even though they are in office as expected, they do not carry out their functions and their duties as expected, but supervision and regulatory visit and control would help to curb these actions and acts. Appointment and promotion should be based on merits, performance, and qualification, not connection or favoritism. That is, if an individual is to be employed or appointed to a certain position in the public service, it should be based on merits. If an individual is to be promoted, it should be based on merits. It should be based on qualification and not because of connection or sentiment, or because such an individual knows people in high authority. Provision of modern facilities and techniques. That is, the government should provide modern facilities and different techniques and technologies for the public service so as to ensure that they carry out their duties faster and more effectively. Moving on to Theme 4, and under Theme 4, I have the following topics: civil society and popular participation. The civil society. The civil society is a non-state and non-profit sector comprised of groups or organizations formed to work in the interest of the citizens. The civil society has been described as a key role in defending people against the states and asserting the democratic will to influence the states. Examples of civil societies in Nigeria are Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, and so many others. The function and need for the civil society. Why does the society need the civil society? And what are the functions that the civil society carry out in the nation? The functions and the need for the civil society includes the following. 1. They render free professional services such as legal, medical, and financial assistance to fight against oppression. That is, the civil society has put it on themselves to render free legal, medical, financial assistance to individuals that have been oppressed so as to fight against the oppression. They fight against unfair and unjustifiable treatment of citizens. That is, the civil society has placed it on themselves to fight for the rights of the citizens. When citizens are treated unjustly or unlawfully, they rise up and speak for them and also fight for them in their own way. They serve as watchdog for political office holders. That is, the civil society in place tends to check and balance and serve as watchdog for office holders so as to make sure that they carry out their duties effectively. They protest against government policies that may threaten the survival of a common man. That is, when governments implement certain policies that will threaten the survival of normal individuals, of common man, that is the poor man or the average citizen or the even less privileged citizen, the civil society fight up, they stand up, they fight and protest against these policies. They defend the fundamental human rights of citizens. That is, the civil society ensures as much as it is in their capacity, they ensure that no citizen is